Dr. Jill Stein. We are here at Abandon Biden press conference, and I wanted to ask you, given that the name is Abandon Biden, but we now have Vice President Kamala Harris,
Yes.
Why is the group still continuing on with its demands?
Oh, because Harris has been a part of the Biden-Harris administration and is coming into up to the election now without having really taken any sort of change of direction or new policies, particularly with regard to the genocide in Gaza. So there is continuity here between the genocide of Biden and the genocide of Harris. And as vice president, she has really presided over that and has not taken steps to change that.
What do you want viewers to take away?
That we have a choice, actually. That we have a choice, that we do not need to simply roll over for a genocide. In fact, it's outrageous to do so, and that people should not be intimidated or extorted into supporting that genocide. And we have more than 2 candidates that are running for president, and I think it's really a tribute to Abandon Biden that they are lifting up the alternative candidates right now. At some point they may be endorsing one, but I don't think they have yet. So they are lifting up the alternatives. Among those alternatives, our campaign is the one anti-war, anti-genocide campaign that will be on the ballot across the country for about 90% of voters. So we are the one anti-genocide campaign with an actual pathway to the White House. So we think it's really important for people to know that they have a real choice to say no to endless war and genocide, which is an expression of that endless war, and to be reminded that this endless war is impoverishing us here at home. The size of the military budget is about half of our congressional dollars. So it has everything to do with why Americans do not have the housing that they need. Half of Americans are extremely financially stressed, spending 30 to 50% of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. Americans do not have affordable health care. 100 million or so are trapped in medical debt. 44 million in student debt. It's not working out so good for everyday Americans. And on that score as well, the American people have a choice. So we're here, to remind the American people that we still have a democracy. They haven't taken it away from us yet. People very much need to be aware of their choices and to rebuff these efforts to intimidate people into voting for choices that are throwing them under the bus.
And so remind the American people, what are the top 3 or 4 demands that Abandon Biden wants from Biden and now Harris?
My understanding is that their main call is for an immediate ceasefire and for a negotiated solution, and I believe for a weapons boycott as well. It's certainly part of my agenda, and most of the other anti-genocide candidates recognize that we're not going to get this without actually compelling Israel to do so, because it has shown absolutely no interest. Israel just assassinated the leading negotiator for that ceasefire. So it is going to take a weapons boycott. Or simply resolve on the part of the U.S. president, who with a simple phone call could put an end to this genocidal war. Right now, Dwight Eisenhower did that way back in the 50s, I think it was, and Ronald Reagan also did that in the 1980s. So we can do that again right now and end this horrific loss of life. It was just last week that these 2,000-pound bombs weighing basically 1 ton each, 3 of those were dropped on a school full of women and children in prayer. At the time, they were concentrated, causing maximum slaughter of innocent women and children. About 100 people were killed, but there weren't any bodies to count because the devastation being wreaked on ordinary people right now is just so massive. It's just a You know, it's an incredible statement about what our government is enabling. This would not be happening without U.S. weapons, U.S. funding, and U.S. cover. So while it is Israel who is the proxy for the United States, it's actually the United States that is enabling and conducting this war.
And so, you know, it's been 8 years since 2016.
Yes.
I think the Democrats were really fearful of what, you know, your campaign did in 2016. Do you think they fear you now in 2024?
Well, they announced back in March that they were hiring an army of lawyers in order to throw people like me off the ballot, which they have been trying to do. We are locked in a legal battle with them in many places around the country. Then they went on to actually do a job posting, at least one that we discovered, there were probably more, a job posting for someone to manage infiltrators and spies in order to mess up our ballot drives and our organization. And then the Democratic treasurer, presumably under party instructions, refused to appropriate our public funding. So we had qualified for several $100,000 in public funding. And this was due at least a month ago, maybe 6 weeks, and was really critical for our drives to get on the ballot. They have been holding on to that money, and for reasons that really don't hold water, that I won't bore you with. They're rather technical, but it appears to be a clear act of political sabotage going on within the Democratic administration. So yes, I think they are very afraid, because the issues that we are talking about and the solutions that we're offering, healthcare is a human right for everyone through a Medicare for All system, which covers everybody comprehensively and reduces the cost by $500 billion a year. So we save money at the same time that we give everybody health care. People really want that, and that would save us a whole lot of money by cutting red tape and bureaucracy. People want affordable housing, and we have policies to ensure that we get that, and to put an end to student debt and medical debt. So those are some of the really disabling issues that the American people want solutions for, that we're talking about, and the Democrats are decidedly not, and the Republicans are not. So I think both establishment parties are not anxious to see competitors like us on the ballot. We will give them a run for their money.